What's up, founders? My name is John Ladog. I'm the co-founder of Sturppy. We help startups and small businesses build financial models that they use to then go on and raise money from pre-seed all the way to Series A. So today we're going to be talking about how to create a usage-based SaaS financial model. So what is usage-based SaaS? We're going to cover all of that. And eventually we're going to go through the process of building a model that looks just like this one. So beautiful model, beautiful graphics with all the key KPIs that any investor would want to see when evaluating a particular business. So let's talk a little bit about usage-based SaaS. So first of all, I'm hoping if you click this video, you know what SaaS is, right? Software as a service. But when I say usage-based, they can mean a couple of different things. Sometimes it's also called metered pricing. And so really all this means is that you don't have set kind of pricing tiers, right? So a typical business like Spotify, for example, might have, different plans where they have a $9.99 plan for a single user, and then they might have a family plan for a different price. Now, usage-based or metered-based pricing is more akin to like an AWS, right? Where you're only getting billed for what you use. So we see this in infrastructure companies. We also see this a lot in API companies where they're actually kind of throttling based on the number of API calls you're making. Or in this case, this imaginary company, Sendio, they're using metering pricing for email automation. So this is Sendio. This is our example company that we're going to build a financial model for here on Sturppy. They're a new startup, pre-seed, and they're email automation software, right? So they have a very basic pricing structure. So they're usage-based or metered pricing. They have a free trial, and they really only have one pricing plan. Basically, they just charge you 3 cents per email that you send per month. Right. So on average, they have kind of two different customer segments. They have small customers that are sending on average around 1,000 emails a month. And then they have these larger customers, maybe these are enterprise or kind of scale ups that are sending 20,000 emails a month. And they don't care if you send 5 emails or if you send 10 emails or 10,000 emails. We're just going to charge you 3 cents per email. So let's get into it and start to build out this financial model. But before we do, let's talk about the 3 big components that go into building a financial model. So there are 3 big components. The first one is your acquisition strategy. So acquisition strategy is how we're actually driving leads to our business to sign up for those free trials and hopefully become paying customers. That's going to cover things like SEO. So if you have a blog and you're driving search traffic to your website, that's an acquisition channel. Another channel might be paid social ads. So if you're doing Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn advertising, that's an acquisition channel. Another acquisition channel in this example could be cold outreach. So if you're sending emails on a regular basis to a list of targets to see if they're interested in your services, that's an acquisition channel. So the second big piece is definitely going to be our revenue streams, right? So how are we actually monetizing our users into paying customers? So everything revenue is going to be kind of the second big component. The third piece is going to be expenses. Expenses gets broken down into a couple of different categories. We'll go over it when we are kind of into the model build process. But just know for now, those are the 3 big pieces. So we're going to navigate over to Sturppy. Sturppy is an awesome piece of software for early stage companies. So you can pop in, go to sturppy.com, come over to our website, click Get Started, and you can actually grab a $79 lifetime deal right now for our founder plan. So no monthly fees, nothing like that. And you can build beautiful models. Export these models to a spreadsheet, create a shared link of your model that you can give to investors or mentors to review, provide you feedback, all of that, all included within Sturppy. So I'm already logged into Sturppy, so what I'm going to do is click New Project. And then out of the gate, we actually provide a handful of templates that you can use and leverage to get started to build faster. You can always build from scratch. You can just choose the build from scratch template or click here to kind of build from scratch. But in this case, we're going to use a pre-configured, pre-built template. So I'm just going to type in usage base. And we get 2 options. We have one option with no free trial, and then we have one option that includes a free trial here. So We're going to click the with free trial because our example business has a free trial. There's a little bit of overview about the model. You can kind of click through, see some of the KPIs, assumptions that kind of come built into this pre-used template. We're going to click use template. We're going to give it a name, call it Sendio Financial Projections. And we're going to just stick with dollars. Sturppy, you can actually use any currency symbol that you'd like to model in. You just delete that dollar sign, paste in the pound or euro sign, and you're good to go. So we'll click create. And just like that, we get this nice dashboard. You can kind of view things in full screen like this, or you can kind of view a tabular view if you want to look at the kind of table view. Any way you want to slice and dice it, this is kind of what you get out of the box with Sturppy. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to come into the acquisition section and check out what's already in there and start to kind of edit these inputs to the Sendio business. So in Sendio, our design brief says that we have SEO. So they have a blog. They also have paid social ads on Facebook and Instagram. And they're also doing some cold outreach. So we have already created in this template paid social ads, SEO. We also have this word of mouth. So if we just don't want this, what we can do is just delete it. So I'll just click into the acquisition channel, click delete. Yes, I want to delete it, and boom, it's deleted. So let's first start by looking at kind of the SEO acquisition channel. So out of the box, you get this graph that's showing leads growing over time, but we actually want to edit the inputs here to configure it to our particular business. So the way that SEO works is that you're actually driving Google search results. So the way that gets measured is in the form of keyword monthly search traffic. So if you go to Google Search Console, and click this. If you haven't gotten this set up for your company, do it, and you'll be able to see kind of the number of monthly keywords that you're ranking for, and the number of times that you're coming up in a search result. So in this case, if we want to edit this down, we can. So since it is a brand new business with no existing companies, maybe they're not showing up this frequently in search results per month. So maybe we want to say we're going to start out that they're showing up in 5,000 search results on every month. But this channel is going to grow. So this team is going to invest in SEO. They're going to pump out blog articles. And so we want to grow this assumption over time. So maybe we say this is actually going to grow 10% every month, and kind of grow that. We can also set lower bounds and upper bounds, or kind of set assumptions around how we want to apply this modifier. But we'll just leave it at that. Start with 5,000, grow it by 10%. And then the next thing we're going to have here is a click-through rate. And I'm just going to edit this so that we have a little bit more context of what a CTR is. So CTR is, if keyword monthly traffic is the number of times you're showing up in a Google search, the CTR is the click-through rate, the amount of times the users are actually seeing your results on Google and then clicking over to your website. So we have it at 3% now. 3% is like a very good benchmark or baseline to use out of the gate. If we want to say we're not so good at this at the beginning, we could say 1%, and then again we could increase this, say it's going to get better over time, and then maybe never going above 3% here. And so we can kind of take a look at what's going on here. So we could see both these are growing over time, and eventually our 3% click-through rate is going to kind of hit that threshold in January 2024. And it's going to kind of max out there, but the keyword monthly traffic is going to continue to basically grow at the rate of 10% month over month. And now we can see on this graph, these are the number of leads that we're actually generating from this acquisition channel. So in month one, we've got 50 leads. All the way in the end of this, we've got over 4,000 leads that we're generating through SEO. So channel one, done. Paid social ads, same sort of thing. You just come in here and kind of change some of the inputs and drivers. So we have the total daily campaign budget. Maybe this is something that we want to grow over time. Maybe they have a little bit more money here and they're willing to spend $50 a day on those social ads. We're going to say $50, and then maybe this is going to grow 10% every quarter. And so this way we're kind of showing that we're going to increase this budget and expenditure over time. We also have what's called a CPC, a click per cost rate. So if you're new to the world of advertising, basically you set a campaign budget and then you actually have a CPC that's kind of an output, and basically it's the amount that you're paying for a click over to your website. So by default, we just kind of put $2 here. Maybe we've done a little bit of research where we've done some testing and we're actually getting a CPC of like $2.75. We'll put that there. And then again, now we've got our leads flowing in from this particular acquisition channel. Last acquisition channel that we wanted to add was cold outreach. We don't have it here, so what we're going to do is click this Add New Channel button. And now we have a whole bunch of different templates that we can use for adding different acquisition channels. So I'm going to give it a name. I'm just going to call it cold outreach, cold email outreach. And I'm going to choose the cold outreach template. And I'm just going to go through the steps here and kind of read the prompts and answer the questions here, and it's going to build the acquisition channel for us. So number of cold contacts per month. Maybe we're making 100 cold emails per month, and then we need to add a conversion rate or an opt-in rate of folks that are actually going to see that email, open that email, and say, you know what, this Sendio thing sounds pretty cool. Let me opt in. Let me jump on a call with these guys, whatever it might be. So we'll say maybe that's 7%. And maybe it's going to improve. So we'll just say 10% and then never going above 15% opt-in rate. And so now we're going to see just kind of a preview here of the leads that we're going to be generating from this cold outreach. And we'll hit complete. And boom, just like that, we've got that new acquisition channel for cold email outreach. We can always come back, edit things, add start dates. Maybe we're not going to start doing cold email outreach for a couple of months. So maybe this starts in September and we can kind of throttle things there. Since we did that, we could also, we can take that out and just have things starting from the beginning just like that. So perfect. We've got our acquisition channels all modeled out. Here's kind of an overview of those channels. We've got paid social, we've got our SEO, and then we've also got our cold email outreach. And so now what we got to do is set up our pricing strategy. So we're going to hop right into the revenue section and pop open this revenue stream. And out of the box, we've got some pretty cool graphs here. We've got new free trials. We've got new paying subscribers each month. We've got kind of this subscriber overview graph of our concurrent subscribers, the new subscribers, the churn subscribers, all the metrics that you would want to see in a financial model included here. We've also got the total revenue and the total usage associated with that. And now what we need to do is kind of edit these assumptions to mirror what our business is. So if I had existing customers, I could add existing customers here. We don't. We're also going to add a free trial sign-up conversion rate. So maybe we say 7% is a good baseline for us. So we'll just leave it at 7% there. We also have a free trial to paid user conversion rate, right? Because folks are going to come in, they're going to sign up for the free trial in most cases, and then they're going to turn into paying customers. So we actually have a second conversion rate. So 7% of folks are going to sign up for that free trial. 35% of folks are going to actually become paying users. And then we also have a churn rate, which is the number of customers or subscribers that we're losing each month. Womp, womp, womp. And so maybe we want to say in the beginning, we're not so good at retaining customers. So maybe this is like 15% in the beginning, but we're actually going to just add a minus sign and then say minus 10%. And we're going to improve that churn rate over time as the product gets better, as our team gets better at retaining those customers. And we'll say we'll never go below 7% there. So we can actually see that in this preview. If we look at churn rate, we can see kind of a graph of the trend. And it's going to start at 15%. And it's going to hit kind of that 7% threshold in September. The other things that we need to take into consideration are there any fixed costs or like a price to the customer associated with standing up an account? In our case, no, there's none. They can just sign up. They don't have to pay anything. So we'll leave that at 0. And then what we need to say is, what is the average number of units consumed per customer per month? And so in our case, we actually have small customers at 1,000 and then large customers at 20,000. And so we could do an average. We could do that. Or what we can do is actually split these into two different revenue streams. So let's just go ahead and see how that's done. So all we're going to say is the average, and we'll make this, for small. So I'm just going to edit this and say small clients, if I could type. And this is going to be, we said 1,000, 1,000, and then the price per email sent is going to be 3 cents. So I'm just going to do 0.03, just like that. And now we have 3 cents, 1,000. You can rename these too. So like instead of units, in this case, it would probably be emails. So like number of emails per customer, right? Number, average price per email sent. And now we've kind of built this out custom. So now we've got our small clients revenue right here. What we can do is just clone this and make an exact copy of it. So I'll just click this clone button. And now we have an exact copy of this. We'll change the name to large clients. We'll open up that driver drawer again here. We'll change the number of average emails to 20,000. And just like that, we're pretty much done. So the one thing that we have to take into consideration is that we're attracting these leads in acquisitions, right? And then those leads have to actually flow into revenue. So we actually attach those acquisition channels here. And so maybe in this case, since this is the large plan, maybe this is what we're doing more of the cold email outreach for. So I'll add the tick box there to include that within this revenue stream. And then if we actually want to split the leads proportionally to the business, we can hit this triple ellipse and say, of the social ads, maybe those are going to be the smaller clients, right? Like if it's a large client, that's more going to become from like a sales process. So I'll reduce this and say that, only 10% of the paid social traffic is going to, become a lead for this more enterprisey sales. I'll do the same thing with SEO, just like that. And then I can come back to the small clients, open this bad boy up, and then make sure that cold email outreach is not ticked because we're not doing cold email outreach for these kind of smaller clients. And then I'll just reduce these down because we don't want to count leads twice. So we have 10% of paid social ads traffic going towards those enterprise kind of larger plans and 90% coming towards this smaller customer base. And my head's getting in the way here, so I'll just click X there. And that's pretty much it for revenues. It's that easy. We get some nice graphs here. We can see the subscribers again, the total revenue, and then also the total units. So this would be like the number of emails that we're actually sending on average per month from the small clients. And if we just come back to the overview of revenues, we're going to see kind of the breakdown of our large clients and our small clients right there. So right out of the gate, we've got acquisitions handled, we've got revenues handled. Last but not least is to handle those expenses. So we're going to come over into the expenses section of Sturppy, and the expenses section is broken down into a couple of different pieces. So we have COGS, which are our cost of goods sold. And if you want to learn more about like what COGS are, or SG&A, we have tons of resources on kind of how to think about what are COGS, what's SG&A, but COGS is going to be our cost of goods sold. So this is going to be anything related to the delivery of your product. So in SaaS, it's a little bit different than say like an e-commerce company that sells t-shirts. For them, it's going to be like the raw materials to produce a t-shirt. In SaaS, it might be things like your compute or your storage or your website domain, all of those things that are required to actually deliver your service to your customers. So in our example here, we basically have $20 a month for the website, and then we have this estimation of $1.75 a month per paying user in compute costs. So what we can do, open up these COGS, open up the driver drawer here. We already have, this is a template, so we have website domain, so we'll just make it a clean, even 20. We don't have payment processing fees, so we'll delete that. And then we'll delete this front-end hosting, and we'll rename this one to compute per user. And we said it was 175. So I'm just going to make this 175. And then we can actually scale this. So if we wanted to say 175 times total customers each month. So the really cool thing about Sturppy is that now this scales based as, this expense scales as the number of customers scales in your business. So it's not going to be, in the beginning we're only paying, $26 for compute, but as the company grows, we get more customers, that compute's going to add up, right? So now we've modeled out the COGS. We can jump back into SG&A right here. And SG&A is actually going to be split up into two separate sections. We have our employees, this is our hiring plan, and also payroll. And then we have general and administrative, which is going to cover pretty much everything else in a business. If you have an office, it's going to be your rent. If you have other like team software that you use, it's going to be included in G&A. So we'll pop open G&A. We'll take a look at our design brief. We have Microsoft 365, $50 per employee. Legal fees, $1,000 a quarter. Finance and accounting, bookkeeping, $400 a month. And then some one-time upfront startup fees of $5,000. So out of the box, we already have Microsoft 365 in here, but we actually said it's $50. And just like we can do with COGS, where we're scaling on customers, we can scale on number of employees, which is super powerful. We don't have HubSpot, so we'll delete some of these things out of here. Miscellaneous legal fees, we'll keep that. And then we'll add two back. One for bookkeeping. If I could type. Accounting, this was $400 per month, so we'll leave the period as month. Miscellaneous legal fees was $1,000 per quarter. So we're going to use quarterly there. And then we have these like upfront costs, startup costs, right? And these were $5,000. And we'll say one time. And so by default, it's going to put that one-time cost in month one of your projection. But if you wanted to, you could add a start date. Maybe this cost isn't incurred until June. And we could say June, and now we're going to see that upfront cost included right there. Now, there's a couple of other costs already pulled in here from our paid acquisition channels, right? So we're doing paid advertising. So that is an expense that we got to account for in our G&A. And so we automatically pull that in from acquisitions. So these are our paid social ads, our, what we're spending per month here. And we can kind of see that here under paid social ads. So that is pretty much it. The cool thing about Sturppy 2 is that we automatically create these the three financial statements. So we have an income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement. We can pop into kind of a tabular spreadsheet style view of it. If we want to export this to our a spreadsheet, we totally can. We just hit this download button right there, and it's going to populate a pre-formatted, awesome looking spreadsheet for us. We can export the entire model if we wanted to a spreadsheet by hitting the cloud button right here. We could add our own graph colors and add our own branding, attach our own logo. We can extend out the runway. So if we wanted to say that this is actually a 60-month model, we can do that. We can change how we're actually visualizing the model. So if we wanted to view it in terms of quarters instead of months, we totally can. And everything just automatically updates into quarters just like that. We can also, we can also come in here. We can check out the KPIs. These can be customized to whatever you want. Out of the box, this template has like ARPU, which is your average revenue per user. We have LTV calculated in here, burn rate, expense breakdown, all these good things. These can all be customized to your particular business. Same goes for this home screen, right? So we can customize this, making graphs bigger, smaller, however we want to customize this. We absolutely can. And we can see here that this business, they're kind of in the red, right? Which is pretty typical for a startup, but they start to kind of have this hockey stick at the end here. So like the amount that they would need to raise is kind of this trough here. So they would have to raise, it looks like their cash balance goes to negative $560K. They would want to raise $560K to kind of get this business in enough runway to get to cash flow positive. So you could do that by modeling out your cap table. You could add future funding rounds to kind of show how that equity is going to affect the model. And yeah, you can also share this external link. I'll copy this. This is what you can share with investors, mentors, whoever wants to kind of view and provide you feedback on this model. By default, it'll ask for some information. You can turn this on or turn this off. But basically, this is just going to capture some information, and you will be able to see who's viewed your model, when, how long, and any feedback they might have left. So super powerful. Try it out. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's much easier than doing things in Excel, a lot prettier on the eyes. And yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Check us out at Sturppy.com. And yeah, looking forward to helping you build your perfect financial model. Cheers.